Have you ever felt that you were uncomfortable before? Or maybe a sense of dread, anxiety? Maybe you're that type of person when you're alone, when you have no one to talk or interact to, you just want to be someone else. Well, if you thought about that or like that, well, you're in luck because we're going to be talking about that in the podcast, The Overtalks. I'm Surya.
And this is Nasya speaking. So, welcome to the Overtalks, where we share our thoughts
into talks.
Surya, how are you doing today?
I'm fine. What about you?
I'm fine, thanks for asking. And I hope everyone who's listening and watching this, wherever and whenever you are in a good condition.
Hope you guys feel okay. Nasya, before we start to get into our actual topic, maybe for the viewers out there to know what's going to be we're going to be talking about, do you have like a general idea that you can explain to them?
Okay, so guys, today we're gonna talk about self-acceptance and also the power of confidence to make us believe in ourselves.
That's really interesting, actually, right? I'm really excited for this topic. I think with us being teenagers or even young adults in any age, I think, right, with experience with social anxiety or anything else can relate to what we're talking about.
Yep.
But I mean, what's self-acceptance in your own definition, in your own terms?
Okay, so actually, self-acceptance is like an ability of trusting ourselves, believing in ourselves that we can do everything, that we can do anything, right? And then also without rejecting the presence of what we have and what we don't have. Like that.
I see.
So, I think when we're talking about self-acceptance, it relates to the thing that insecurities and anxiety, right? Yeah. So I have a little question for you. What do you feel when you're not being yourself and you're just like not comfortable with that? Can you explain to us, Surya?
I mean, this is the start of the podcast, and you've already asked a really, really hard question.
Yeah.
But I think for me, right, for my personal case, for my personal experience, right, I think it has to actually do with what I was actually feeling at that time. I was feeling anxiety. I was feeling that I was really uncomfortable. I came when I was in middle school. I came from a school that it was really religious.
Ooh,
So basically, everyone was like really, really strong in their beliefs. They can actually do this. They can do that. Maybe are good in science. Maybe I'm good in maybe they're good in English. I mean, maybe they're good in math, but I'm just a normal person who just, doesn't really have any abilities whatsoever. And I think that can also, that actually just made my anxiety worse because I felt absolutely uncomfortable when I was talking to them, right? They just talk about their experiences when they were in elementary school, doing this, doing that. And I was just, I was trying to even survive and try to graduate from elementary school.
I really agree with that.
But I think that lack of confidence made me just absolutely huddle down and basically made me more and more negative. But I want to hear from you as well. What makes us insecure or feel that anxiety?
I think in my personal case, and I also did a little research with my friends, I think mostly teenagers are insecure because of standards or something that the socials has, but that thing never existed. Yeah. So, do you know, like, I gave you an example, like, when you're in a society where they all can sing, where they did great at math, but you just can't do both of it. Yeah, and then you just start to overthink everything, and then, like, you get anxious by yourself. So, I think standards really makes us do a lot of things like that.
I really agree, actually. Nowadays, we try to copy those successful, ultra successful people from like our social environment or maybe from social media. But then when we try to copy them, we are unable to actually copy what they do, what their accomplishments. And then we feel bad about ourselves and we feel uncomfortable and just absolutely degrade ourselves to the point where because we're not them, we're really, really bad. Maybe, is there a story, maybe a personal case for yourself that you can share with us about maybe afterwards, if you ever regenerated or got yourself to a better place?
Okay, so when I was in the middle school, I have a group of friends. It was like 4 or 5 of us. I forgot actually. And then when I was in the middle school, I make myself believe that I will have a friend, and once I have a like group of friends, I will not get out of it.
Oh yeah,
Like,
you're gonna be stuck in that
yeah,
group.
you know. And then I was trying so hard to fit in those group of friends. And you know what? I didn't realize that I was having a toxic relationship with them.
Oh yeah, that's
You wanna know
bad.
why?
Why?
Because like I'm not being myself with them. Like I try so hard to fit in, and I try to do everything they did. You know?
Just put on a mask and try to impress them.
Yeah, that's right. So I think that was like the most hard times for me. And then we grew up together until the high school.
Oh,
So I just cut off them from my life, I guess.
cut them off, right.
Yeah, and I think the more that I get older, the more that I realize that I need to be myself. I need to find myself like that. And also, I realized that if we wanted to be accepted by the others, I think we just need to be ourselves first, like prioritize ourselves first. So I have like kind of the energy and then start to bring them into my life.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
I try my best that I can do whatever I want and be just like myself.
Listen to her, guys. Just be yourself. I think, yeah. Though I'm sorry that you've actually experienced that before. It must be really heartbroken, and you must be really,
It's
really
a long
traumatized. Like,
process.
it's a long process
Yeah.
to actually just heal from that trauma. But whatever it is, right? I think that toxic relationships with anything, with anyone, wherever and whenever, I think you should stop that. Absolutely, I agree with that. You should stop anything that makes you not yourself in a bad way, right? I think, but I'm glad you got out of that relationship as well. And I think you should seek and try to find people who support you, right? Who support you and who would like you to be yourself, who supports you and accepts you to be yourself and
Yes.
have self-confidence to be someone that you are passionate about. But yeah, this goes out to you guys as well, alright? I think people that support you and make sure you're in a good place, in a good environment, and also accept you, make you accept yourself first, is a good friend. And it self benefits us and them as well, being in a comfortable environment. But yeah, I think moving on. Do you, I think for yourself maybe, right? Do you maybe think there's something that can connect that anxiety or from that past trauma itself to why do I have to be someone else, or your self-acceptance?
Okay, so let's just talk about my case at the beginning. I think when we are not being ourselves like that, you're just making yourself like in a place where you don't feel like you're belong there, you know? And then you just like feel not comfortable with all of those things. And then you just start ruining yourself. That's a bad thing to do, guys. So if you wanted to be like, you wanted to be free, or maybe you wanted to be yourself, just believe that you can do everything. Believe that whatever happens to you is just like a process of your life, you know? And that sort of things kind of make you insecure of anxiety and something else. I think you should start to think in a good way. That was just like a word that really helps you. So when you're trying to find yourself, just don't try to
be that
be someone
else.
Yeah.
I think it's good to be inspired by someone else, right? Especially if that person has the same passion as you, like we said before. Maybe they like writing, poetry, singing, whatever. I mean, there's no limit to it, right? The sky's not the limit. You can be whatever you want. Maybe you, I think it's important to be yourself and develop yourself to be constantly better, moving to be better and better, and to basically make yourself comfortable and get rid of that anxiety or that uncomfortability you feel, right? Maybe, do you have like a quote or two to motivate the guys and girls out there that's watching us right now that wants to be better but didn't find that spark yet?
So actually, one thing that you guys should remember is better to focus on exploring yourself and then prioritize yourself first, then look up to someone, you know? Because like at some point you can compare yourself, or maybe you're just feeling that you're not good enough because you look at the standards like I was talking in the beginning. So try to be yourself and try to prioritize everything yourself first. Yourself matter.
Yourself matters.
Yourself
That's really
matters.
important. Well, that's some really good tips, actually. But maybe to end this episode on this podcast, do you like, again, have a quote or two, maybe, to just ignite that spark that people have in themselves?
I love this quote. Seriously. So, you, yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. That was like such lovely words for me because like it inspires me to love myself. It reminds me that I need to focus on myself, and also I think that we can think about the others after we think about ourselves first, you know?
Yeah, I really agree on that. Well, for me, I think because I tend to overthink a lot. It's for you guys that a lot overthinks.
Everyone overthink a lot, you know.
Yeah, and I think we tend to think more on the negative side rather than positive side, right? This quote reads for me: "We suffer more in imagination rather than in reality." Right? We tend to overthink a lot. Yeah, we tend to overthink a lot. Maybe we think that people think about us as bad, as like, oh, this guy's like this guy's just that, comparing us badly to each other. But I think when we do that, we just make ourselves suffer more and more and more. And when we do that, I think that it basically just takes a mental toll on us and doesn't allow us to be ourselves, to be self-accepting of us.
You know what? Your words hit me through though.
Oh.
Like we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Like you've not there yet, you know? Like when you're thinking about something, like, oh my god, I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna be that, they're gonna talk about me and all of the things. But actually you're not there yet.
No, you're not there yet.
Yo, so that was like make people think that you're not there yet. So you just keep on working, keep on looking at that.
Better,
yeah. That was a great one, sir.
Thanks. Yours too. Well, do you maybe have anything else to add?
It's enough for me.
Well, that's all for today in today's episode of the Overtalks. True to you, exploring the power to accept yourself. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, you're unique and you are yourself.
Regardless of what other people say. Stay safe. Don't forget to love yourself. See you on the other side. Bye.
Bye.